I think let's start with some actual real topics here. Hey, I think you brought this one up. Let's talk about some EVs. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, so I just was curious to hear what y'all's thoughts were on not only obviously the impending future of electric vehicles. They're here. Justin, you and I live in Austin. We know that the Tesla horde
It's coming,
is
baby.
here and they are not leaving. And in fact, Tesla has just broken ground and is working day and night starting 6 a.m. sharp on their new gigafactory just outside of Austin. But I wanted to hear what y'all's thoughts were on not only would you ever consider purchasing an electric vehicle in the next, let's say, 2 to 5 years, maybe in the next 10 years, but also just kind of what do what do you think are going to be the opportunities moving forward after the most recent surge of names, such as obviously Tesla is the most notorious with their 5-to-1 stock split just announced and at all-time highs, and over 200% higher since old Elon got in trouble with the SEC and said funding secured at 420. We've also got Neo, we've got Nikola, which is basically just a car company on the back of crayon drawings, and we've got Lordstown
Making
Motors
money.
that just came onto the markets via SPAC. Uh,
Lordstown,
yeah,
that's the winner. That's the winner.
that's the
It
winner.
might be.
But we also have Fisker coming through a SPAC. We have another one I saw today that the name
Hyliion.
blanking, but is supposed to have a 500-mile range. It was in Morning Brew this morning, and you've also got all the legacy names involved with this. Ford is trying to get trucks up and running with Rivian. Volkswagen has got, I believe, a partnership with Ford, and they're not going away. So I know that was a lot of questions to kind of pose, but let's kick it off of, would you ever even consider owning an electrical vehicle for your personal situation within the next 2 to 5 years?
So like you said, Pate, man, I live in Austin. It's coming, it's here, it's been here for a while. I wanted to get in ground floor. I did not have the capital to do so. They're still
Most
too
don't.
expensive for me, at least for something that's worth it. I would love to own an electric vehicle. I think it's great. I think it suits my needs pretty well, as long as it's big enough to handle me and my dog here. She's around here somewhere. But I like the idea of it. I think it's becoming a more regular thing, and I think we're actually making the shift. So maybe a little slower than some people expect. But don't call me a liberal cuck. But I would love to own an electric vehicle first off, and I think it's coming.
I don't think there's anything political to say you would like to not spend money on a lot of oil maintenance and engine maintenance.
Yeah, I know nothing about that, unfortunately.
Well, EVs don't have that, so you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah,
Ryan, what about
so
you?
Right.
so for me, I mean, living in San Antonio and my wife's in Dallas now, I was looking at, how far of a distance I would have to drive on one charge. And if they can expand it to 300-400 miles on a charge, I'm all in on it. And I mean, it's something I've looked at purchasing within the next 2 to 3 years if they can make that more common. I think with competition, it's going to lower the prices of Tesla, hopefully, and allow more younger people to buy the cars right out of college instead of having to wait till they've made more money in order to make those payments. But as far as the stocks go, I think like 80% of them are going to fall flat and lose everything. I'm a big bear on the whole market in general.
That is not a advocation to go put shorts on to 80% of the EV stocks out there. Just saying. Continue, Ryan.
It's not, but I mean, I think a lot of them are going to end up bankrupt because I think the Fords and the Toyotas and the larger companies are just going to completely crush them.
So you're saying the companies with access to capital and scale of manufacturing are going to end up winning in the end of this, and
Yeah,
not
exactly.
necessarily Lordstown, like the Nicolas are going to be pushed to the wayside. And will just be kind of folklore in 5 years.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know.
I do.
Okay.
I think, I mean, Tesla already has the huge market share. I don't know who's going to compete with that other than the big guys. I mean, I get the concepts of these other ones, but they're just all trying to become Tesla, and I don't think that's going to happen. That's my opinion on it. But I would love to see it, but I don't know. I mean, I've been bearish on Tesla, so I obviously didn't win
Oops.
that bet. But
Man, I really think like the ones that try to beat Tesla, I think you're absolutely right. I think they're gonna fall flat on their ass because they just can't compete. And the ones that are trying to take over any of the the big markets, Ford, GMC, all that stuff, like they're not gonna be able to do it. But developing the technology, like developing the batteries themselves that those big companies can implement into their stuff, I think that's where they'll succeed in making joint ventures there. I know Hyliion is one of the specs that's coming up. I think theirs goes. They tentatively announced in October, I believe, as of like yesterday. I think they were Q3 before, but now they're Q4. They're developing just battery technology, a little bit different than Nikola and Tesla's. And then Nikola is kind of disrupting the market a little bit, not with their cars. They do have the truck, and I think that's just a marketing ploy for the most part. But I think they're coming into it with their trucking industry and developing infrastructure for that specifically. That's their moneymaker. So if it does work, if it does go through, and their CEOs shit the bed, which is totally a possibility. He's an idiot, but
What? Not him. No, not Trevor.
for saying I was like, am I wrong here? Yeah, okay. I think they have heavy potential. I might be biased because I made a lot of money on them when they merged, and I got out immediately after, not late enough, but I think they have a potential to do something substantial. But in the car industry, no, Tesla is going to take over and the big industries are going to take over that. I think if they're smart.
That requires them being smart, though, is the thing.
Adapt or die, man. Like it's that's where it's at. I think like
Yeah.
Mercedes doing electric cars and self-driving cars, doing that stuff, being at the forefront of that is going to be helpful for them. I'm sure some of the American owners are going to do the same thing. Hopefully, for it to be seen. But
Yeah, I think the two biggest hurdles or the biggest hurdle by far is people not thinking, the gas problem. I can't pull over on the side of the road, grab a Three Musketeers, put my Supreme unleaded in, and keep going on my way wherever I'm going, whether it's on a long road trip, whether it's go to Nana's house. So until the super fast charging infrastructure is truly built out, I think that's going to be a hurdle. It will decrease, I believe. And I believe the kind of mental block of, I don't want to own a EV for that reason because the range isn't good enough, will eventually go away with as technology improves. It's
infrastructure
gonna,
for sure.
Yeah. But that's less infrastructure and more product innovation. And
You think?
the battery itself, yes. Increasing range is not dependent on the actual infrastructure. It's going to be depending on refining who has the best battery, who has a better mousetrap, basically, because that's what humans inherently do. Like a golf club is not an inherently easy thing for most people to use, but it's just been improved throughout, however many years it's been, the 100+ years golf has been around, to what you have today with clubs that can hit it a mile, but still can be difficult for a beginner. You're going to see a lot of EVs and legacy motors put time and R&D money into their batteries to make them better and better and better, to try to get around the fact that the infrastructure, like you were talking about, may not be ready.
So they don't want to rely on these like gas stations getting electric charging station for every single one they have. Is that what you're saying? That makes sense. Yeah.
You're talking how many decades till that happens? Till every, we're all from Texas. How long until the podunk Texas towns get EV stations at the 7-Eleven? That's not happening for a long time. There's not even enough in Austin, San Antonio, Dallas. So
true. Unless they convert the toll roads or the HOV lanes into those magnetic strips that somehow charge while you run through it. But we'll see if that even happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I think these CEOs, they know how to hype it up. But like, we're still, like y'all are saying, decades away from these companies being like truly successful. I think like Tesla just turned a profit. I mean, they've been around for a long time. Like these other ones are just, they're going to have to be thinned out at some point. So I would just, it's risky to, I mean, it's all the Robinhood people just pumping those stocks. So
yeah,
It
I'm
is-
less
it is
worried
kinda-
about I'm less worried about Tesla's stock in terms of valuation. Like I'm not looking at it from that standpoint. It wasn't that long ago since Elon was sleeping in his office just to meet delivery goals, and that was to meet delivery goals, and they
Yep.
didn't for a long time, and that's why Tesla stock is one of the biggest winners of the year, is because it was so far down in the dumps because people didn't believe that they could potentially survive for another 9 months with the cash they had on hand, trying to get their delivery goals met. But I think the most curious part is the fact that the Asian Pacific, especially, and more importantly, China market is so far ahead of North America and Europe in electric vehicles, in terms of just gross aggregate numbers, that's where the money is at the moment. And that's why you're seeing companies like NIO and one called Candy, I believe, just came to the US, do very well, obviously, over there. And then you have Tesla over there also trying to expand market share at the moment, because there's the infrastructure is more so there. There's a bigger total addressable market, and probably one that's not as resistant to change if you can lower the price point over there, which I admittedly don't know enough about the Chinese EV market price points to opine on that specific point.
Yeah, Tesla was the number one in terms of sales in July. I know that. Like NIO is still, it's going to take them a while to catch up, but I think that's probably one that will. I think NIO's seems like a good one to potentially invest in. Not that I would, but because I'm a bear.
Because that's definitely not contradictory.
I
Anyway,
would
Believe it, but nah, too much risk.
if you want to take the risk, that would be one that I think could run up. I mean, if the
Yeah.
market continues to expand. I mean, look at it, was like $12 a share. I mean, it's definitely
Not
gonna
much
go.
downside.
Yeah, not as much downside risk as Tesla or the other developed ones.
I would
We'll
say
see.
none are developed except other than Tesla.
That's true.